It takes a lot of time and energy to train a dog. But once you've gotten their attention, they're smart enough to perform just about any trick. Though it can be some seriously hard work, it's definitely worth it in the end. For one pet owner, however, training her pooch quickly became a much stranger challenge than anticipated. The dog understood the general concept, but eventually decided to take matters into his own paws, showing his owner that there's actually more than one way to do things. Golden retrievers aren't always considered to be the smartest dogs around. They can be trained, but even once they master a skill, they tend to do things well, in their own special way. That was definitely the case for one owner who shared her experience through Tumblr. When she first adopted her rescue retriever, she got straight to teaching him how to let her know when he needed to go outside to use the bathroom. She eventually got the pup to go to the front door whenever he felt the urge. But for whatever reason, he decided to add an unusual twist to this simple act. The dog seemed to think that licking the door was also part of how to indicate that he needed to go. Sometimes he would stand at the door just to see what was going on. But unless he was licking, they knew he didn't need to pee. Though strange, the owner was just glad that his training was complete. Until they moved, a transition such as this can be stressful for everyone involved, even dogs. And this poor guy was no exception to the rule. Settling into the new place was tough for this dog's owner, but at least she knew what was happening. This dog was so confused at first that it actually led to something pretty hilarious. The dog knew that if he needed to go outside, he could let his people know by going up to the front door and licking it. However, the only problem here was that he wasn't quite sure where the new front door was. Since there was only one front door into their new home, his owner was sure he would figure out where he needed to lick to go outside. But that wasn't the case. The dog, however, was proving himself to be a little slow on the uptake. Whenever he needed to go outside and relieve himself, he would still lick the door. It was never the front door always, just whatever door he happened to find. His owner couldn't believe it. The poor pooch was licking every door he saw when he needed to go outside. It could be bathroom doors, bedroom doors, even the doors of kitchen cabinets. The dog's antics were so funny and confusing that his owner couldn't figure out if the dog was brilliant or a little bit slow. At the old house, the dog knew to lick the front door, but now, if his owner was in the shower, all he had to do was lick the frosted glass door, and she was out putting the leash on him in a towel. His owner was also starting to think that maybe her dog just knew he had found a shortcut. Lick whichever door is nearest to his owner for a trip outside. She hoped it was that. Otherwise, it meant her dog actually thought each door led to a magical Narnia that, whenever licked, would turn into a portal leading straight to canine relief. It may have been smart on the dog's part, but it made life for his owner pretty frustrating. If a little bit of time passed and no one saw the dog, they had to run from room to room just to make sure he wasn't licking doors. His owner knew that if the dog went off to lick a door in a distant room, she only had a little bit of time before he would have an accident. And she obviously didn't want that to happen. She often told people about her dog's nutty behavior, and people got a kick out of it. But she felt like people didn't understand how odd it was to walk into a room and see a dog putting his tongue on a random door. To that end, she decided to start following her dog around with a camera in the hopes of catching him in the act of getting his slobber on in a frantic bid to explore the great outdoors. Before too long, she noticed her dog get up from the kitchen floor and wander alone upstairs. She crept up after him, camera in hand. What was he doing? Why, he went into her bedroom to start licking her wardrobe door. This is definitely a dog who needs a little bit of direction. At least his heart, if not his bladder, is in the right place. This dog may not have gotten it exactly right, but he's still trying. Of course, adding a dog to the family can be a scary prospect. And it didn't take long for one Washington family to realize their new pup required more work than they bargained for. But then, his strange behavior took an unexpected turn that made them reconsider everything. Like so many kids before them, Andrew and Clara Davis wanted nothing more than to add a dog to the family's ranks. For them, a little extra responsibility was a fine price to pay for a pooch. Their parents Nola and Richard weren't quite ready for a dog. That is until they heard about a dog recently put up for adoption, named Patch, below. Richard recalled the day he and his wife brought Patch home. "We tricked the kids," he said. "We had a dog hidden in the back seat, and they couldn't see it. They were looking in there going, 'What is it?' When they finally saw the dog, I just lost it, and I started crying 'cause I was so excited," little Clara Davis said, below. Andrew and Clara finally got their wish. They were elated. Patch, meanwhile, joined his new family, as though he'd been a part of the Davis clan all along. He fit right in. The family noticed, though, that there was one thing Patch despised. He did not like the water, Andrew said. He didn't like going into the bathtub, or in the bathroom or taking his baths. But soon, water was the least of Patch's worries. As puppies are prone to do, Patch grew, and grew, and grew. As he continued to grow, Nola, below, started worrying. Just how big was this little dog going to get? As Patch started to grow, we realized that maybe we had made a mistake, Nola said. He was gonna be a big dog, and the house was an awful small house. Andrew lamented the fact too. We didn't have a big yard, he said. We didn't really have a place for Patch to stay. So, the Davis family discussed their options, some of which were heartbreaking. What if, Nola and Richard said, they gave Patch to another home? One that had enough space for the big pooch to run around and use his energy? A home fit for a canine king. But Andrew refused. I said no, Andrew said below. I said I would build a fence or something. The young man's dedication to the dog convinced Nola and Richard to wait a few days before making a final decision. Days later, however, on January 12, 1999, Nola relaxed in the bathtub with the radio turned up to full volume. She was home alone, so she jumped when Patch came running into the bathroom, his least favorite room in the house. Even stranger, Patch ran into the room with a purpose. He sunk his teeth into Nola's dangling arm. What the heck? Had the dog gotten wind of the family's plan to kick him out? Soon, though, Nola realized Patch wasn't biting her, but pulling her. He wanted to show her something. She stepped out of the tub, grabbed a robe, and prepared herself to throw Patch out. But then, she saw smoke. She opened the bathroom door and saw the house engulfed in flames. Worse, opening the door sucked the fire into the bathroom, setting that room ablaze too. Patch and Nola were surrounded by fire. Blinded by smoke, Patch led Nola through the burning home, with the skill of a firefighter, turning every so often to make sure she was still following him. Finally, thanks to Patch, she made it to the front yard. Not thinking clearly, Nola wanted to run back into the house to grab her car keys. But Patch blocked the way and pushed her away. He wasn't going to let her face that danger. Seconds later, fire exploded from the windows. The fire, caused by an electrical short, burned everything the Davis family owned to ash. But not Nola, and certainly not Patch. And the dog knew he'd been the hero. He was walking with pride, Clara said. Like, oh, I'm a good dog. He knew he did something, and every time you gave him a treat, he was like, I did this, and now I get all the attention. As to whether or not to give Patch away, well, Nola and Richard had an easy answer to that dilemma. The family bought a new home in Montana, one with a yard Patch could play in.